tell you something. I've read 581 business books. And out of all of these, I'm about to share the 16 that will make you rich. And when I say rich, I'm talking about the impact you make, the fulfillment you feel, and the joy of watching your work transform people's lives. And when you're transforming lives, the money will come too. These aren't your run-of-the-mill bestsellers. They're the kind of books that'll change your life if you take action. In case you're tuning into my channel for the first time, hi there. I'm Marisa Murgatroyd, and I've coached and supported tens of thousands of impact-driven coaches, experts, and service providers in growing their online businesses, and I'm here to help you succeed too. That's why, in this video, I'm diving into the 16 books that will skyrocket your business success, no matter where you're at right now, and no matter how you're currently feeling about your business. To make it easier, I'm breaking them down into 3 categories: mindset, productivity, and marketing and sales. And stick with me because I'll also tell you the 3 must-reads to prioritize right now. These are the ones you'll want on your shelf if you're serious about building your dream business. Sound good? All right, first up, we're going straight to the foundation, mindset. If your mindset's not right, forget about growing and scaling. In the first book on my list, it's an absolute game changer. I'm talking about The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Hot take. The world would be a better place if this book were required reading as a kid. Here's why. The 4 key components in this book aren't feel-good statements. They're the keys to self-mastery. Be impeccable with your word. Do not take anything personally. Do not make assumptions. And always do your best. You might hear those and think they're incredibly simplistic, and there's no reason to dig any deeper. But in my experience, the most impactful lessons in life are the simplest. Especially the first one, be impeccable with your word. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you're chipping away at something valuable, your self-esteem. At the end of the day, self-esteem is just the reputation you have for yourself. And when you break the promises you make to yourself, you will always know. And that will follow you everywhere, chiseling away at your self-esteem until there's nothing left. That's why it's so important that you become impeccable with your word. The next book on my list is aptly named Mindset by Carol Dweck. This is one of the most important books you could ever read if you want to develop the right mindset. And I do not say that lightly. In it, world-renowned psychologist Dweck introduces the world to a simple yet profound concept called the growth mindset. Now, to really understand the growth mindset, you've got to understand its opposite, the fixed mindset. The fixed mindset is the belief that our traits, character, and skills are fixed and unchangeable. People who say things like, I'm not a math person, or I'm bad at learning languages, are falling victim to the fixed mindset. The growth mindset, by contrast, believes that anything can be learned and developed. So instead of saying, I suck at this and therefore will always suck at this, the key to the growth mindset is one simple word, yet. Yet changes everything. So the next time you think you can't do something, remember, it's not that you can't do it. It's that you haven't learned how yet. Now, there's a lot more nuance to this book than I can give justice to here. So definitely go check it out. And you'll also want to check out my free guide on the 6 essential skills for online business success in the link below. After coaching thousands of people on how to build successful online businesses, I've discovered that there are just 6 skills all successful people share. That's why inside my guide, I dive into how you can cultivate each skill to turn your vision, gifts, talents, and passions into a long-lasting, profitable, and fulfilling business. So go ahead and grab my guide for free in the link in this description. The next book on my list is a bit different because it's specifically about negotiating and not your mindset. But as it turns out, successfully negotiating is entirely about your mindset. In Never Split the Difference, former FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss shares skills to turn a no into a yes. Everything you thought you knew about negotiation, toss it out. You're not rational, and there's no such thing as fair. And compromise, it's a negotiation killer. Now, Voss didn't just dream up these tactics in a conference room. He used them to talk down criminals and save lives. This isn't about logic and working through some list of fair demands. It's about understanding the power of no, using empathy, and tapping into emotional intelligence, because that's how you get results in your life and your business. Ready for the last book on mindset? It's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Most self-improvement books focus on how to improve yourself, how to change your habits, how to build good new ones, how to change your thinking. But that's just half the battle. The other half is self-healing and self-acceptance. The art of not giving a fuck is not about being apathetic or thinking, oh, whatever happens, I don't care, I don't give a fuck. It's all about how we're all a work in progress. Just because you're not perfect doesn't mean you have to deprive yourself of happiness and joy in the present moment. The key is to choose what you give a fuck about and choose wisely. Now let's shift to the top productivity books that will make you rich. First up, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This one's a biggie. You've probably heard of it. But here's why it's essential. Clear's genius approach is scaling your habits down to 2-minute tasks. Why? Because we can all take 2 minutes to start something. Read before bed each night becomes read 1 page. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. Study for class becomes open my notes. Fold the laundry becomes fold 1 pair of socks. Run 3 miles becomes tie my running shoes. The idea is to make your habits as easy as possible to start. Anyone can meditate for 1 minute, read 1 page, or put 1 item of clothing away. This is a powerful strategy because once you've started doing the right thing, it's so much easier to keep doing it. The next book to skyrocket your productivity is The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. This one is for you if you feel like there's just too much to do, which, hey, is all of us, am I right? When I first read it, it felt like a light bulb went off. I realized I didn't have to juggle 100 things at once, just one big impactful task at a time. Instead of wasting time trying to avoid distractions every minute of every day, figure out what matters most. And when you're doing that one thing, eliminate all distractions. This is called time blocking, and it's been a huge game changer for my business. If you look at my calendar, you'll see specific time blocks for my most important work, such as creating new trainings and workshops. That's when I avoid distractions at all costs. Let's talk about Who Not How by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. As entrepreneurs, we often have a limited view of how to improve our productivity. We learn new skills and we try to get more done in less time, but we get stuck on the idea that we have to do everything, or at least most things on our own. As a result, every time we pursue a new opportunity, our workload increases, or we have to let some things go. Who Not How is about how to achieve better results through collaboration with others. Rather than always asking, how can I solve this? When you face a new challenge or a new opportunity, ask, who can help me solve this? The goal is to tap into the skills, capabilities, and experience of other talented people so that we can achieve more through effective teamwork. Next up, we've got a book that's all about breaking the rules of how we've been taught to grow and scale our businesses. I'm talking about REWORK by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansson. REWORK challenges the idea that rapid growth is always desirable. Instead, focus on steady, sustainable growth that doesn't compromise your well-being or your team's well-being. Another big takeaway is to start making progress today. Instead of getting bogged down with elaborate planning, Fried and Hansson emphasize getting started right away. Sure, planning has its place, but nothing beats the learning that happens when you start taking action. And I couldn't agree more. Now, the last productivity book that will make you rich is from one of my favorite authors, Cal Newport. It's called Digital Minimalism, and it's mission critical to solving a problem that's killing our attention. I'm talking about digital distraction. Today, we're more distracted than at any other time in human history. Between mobile app notifications and email alerts and social media updates, it's getting much harder to make productive use of our time. And of course, things may continue to get much worse as more and more technology today is being designed to be highly addictive. Digital minimalism is about how to be more intentional when using technology. It's packed with actionable advice for reclaiming time and improving focus. Newport's focus is how to intentionally declutter your digital life, by identifying and focusing only on the most valuable digital tools and activities, and then cutting the rest. He suggests starting with a 30-day digital declutter. And this is where you step away from non-essential digital activities like social media apps and unnecessary browsing and observe how they impact your life. It seems kind of impossible, right? I get it, but trust me, it can be done. After 30 days, reintroduce only the digital tools that genuinely add value or enhance your goals. This will help you digitally detox and take back control. All right, ready for the 7 must-read marketing and sales books to make you rich? First up is Purple Cow by Seth Godin. Inside, Godin argues that in today's saturated market, traditional marketing tactics, they're not enough. Instead, he advocates for designing products and services that are so unique, like a purple cow in a field of ordinary cows, that they attract attention on their own. My favorite takeaway is to focus on the core. Rather than trying to be all things to all people, focus on the core product or service that you offer. This way, you can excel in a specific area and create a strong brand identity. I agree 100%. That's why my signature program, the Experience Product Masterclass, or EPM, has been the main focus of our marketing and sales efforts, and with good reason. After years of iterating our way to awesome, EPM has become my blockbuster hit product, which completely transformed everything I thought was possible for an online course or program, both for me and my students. In EPM, students design, launch, and profit from an experience product in 12 weeks or less. If you're interested in learning more, drop me a quick comment below. Now, do you want to know why people can't stop talking about certain products? Then read Contagious by Jonah Berger. Berger dives into what makes ideas, products, and messages go viral. It's all about sparking that word-of-mouth wildfire. And he breaks down 6 principles, like social currency and triggers, that explain why people talk about some things and ignore others. Perfect if you're aiming to make your business unforgettable. To apply the principle he shares, consider what makes your product unique, exclusive, or remarkable enough that customers will want to tell others. The next one on my list is directly related to both Contagious and a book I covered earlier, Digital Minimalism. It's called Hitmakers: How to Succeed in an Age of Distraction by Derek Thompson. This one digs into what makes some ideas go viral and others fade away, even when they're great. Thompson breaks down the psychology behind why we like what we like, revealing that familiarity and surprise are key ingredients to making something stick. He also dives into how timing, distribution, and even randomness play into what becomes a hit. Thompson's take: it's not always about being the best. It's about presenting your idea in a way that resonates. The trick to capturing attention is to blend something familiar with a twist of novelty. For your next project or marketing campaign, ask, what's the familiar hook my audience will instantly recognize? And how can I deliver it in a way that feels unexpected? This is the winning combo. Next up, we have one that you're probably not familiar with, but it's been super helpful in my business and fits my main motivation: to help people get so excited about changing their lives that they stop dreaming and start doing. It's Influence is Your Superpower by Zoe Chance. Chance teaches that influence isn't about manipulation. It's about learning to connect, inspire, and guide others in an authentic way. She reveals that everyone has an innate ability to persuade, but many of us shy away from using it or don't know how. By focusing on empathy, curiosity, and even playful tactics, we can get more comfortable influencing others and ultimately make a bigger impact on our lives and the lives of our students, clients, or customers. It's definitely a win-win. Inside, Chance talks about using the magic question to boost your influence. Instead of assuming what others need or jumping straight into solutions, ask them, what would it take? This question lets them share their ideal outcome and opens the door for genuine collaboration. Next time, try asking, what would it take for you to be fully on board? And see how this simple shift unlocks new possibilities. The next book is especially for you if you're like me and money is not one of your main motivators. Here's the thing, money is vital to growing your business because the more you're open to receiving from your work, the more impact you can have. Income fuels impact. That's why you must add Profit First by Mike Michalowicz to your list. This book flips the traditional business profit formula on its head. Instead of the usual sales minus expenses equals profits, Michalowicz proposes a system where you prioritize profit first. Sales minus profit equals expenses. By setting aside profit from each sale up front, business owners avoid the trap of running on slim margins. Michalowicz outlines a practical cash flow strategy using separate accounts to allocate revenue into specific buckets for profit, taxes, operating expenses, and your own pay. This method helps you run leaner operations, focus on what truly matters, and build a business that's financially sustainable from day one. There's no shortage of great books out there that will help you develop and hone your marketing and sales skills, but I wanted to end with two of my personal favorite, and even though they're 40 years apart, they're actually very connected. The first is $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi. This book came out just in 2023, so unfortunately, it was a little late to help me on my learning curve. If I had only had this book 12 years ago, it would have saved me so much trial and error, not to mention a ton of headache and heartache. But hopefully, it saves you from some of the pitfalls of growing and scaling. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, in the life of a business owner, there's nothing quite as disheartening as having a great product that you can't find customers for. Hormozi's advice on lead generation: find one lead source, just one, that works for you. Whether it's Google Ads, content marketing, or partnerships, and go all in on it. Perfect that single source until it's bringing in leads like clockwork. Only once you've got a steady flow should you even think about adding another. It's the no-nonsense way to scale, and it's been proven to work time and time again. Take Gary Vee. Sure, he's a major player on all the social media channels now, but he got his start and grew tremendously by focusing on one channel first, YouTube. It was only when he had grown a large engaged audience and was bringing in a steady stream of leads that he decided to branch out. But once you know how to find your perfect people and are bringing in leads, you've got to learn how to convert them into paying customers. And to do that, there is no skill in the world more valuable than copywriting. My favorite book on this topic is Ogilvy on Advertising by David Ogilvy, published back in 1983. 40 years before $100 million leads. Copywriting is a skill by which we use the written word to influence perception, build desire, and drive action. And Ogilvy himself was one of the grandfathers of this powerful craft. He practically pioneered the process by which we engage, educate, and convert leads into customers using nothing more than the written word. Being a great copywriter requires clear thinking, a deep understanding of human psychology, and the ability to communicate a message with impact. And Ogilvy on Advertising is a great first step in learning what I consider to be one of the most valuable skills in the world. It's also a great pairing with the $100 Million Leads. There you have it, 16 books to read if you want to grow and scale your business and find long-term success. Quick recap. Then I'll share the one book from each category you should prioritize. All right, the 16 books I covered are The 4 Agreements, Mindset, Never Split the Difference, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Atomic Habits, The One Thing, Who Not How, REWORK, Digital Minimalism, Purple Cow, Contagious, Hitmakers, How to Succeed in an Age of Distraction, Influence is Your Superpower, Profit First, $100 Million Leads, and Ogilvy on Advertising. The 3 you should start with first: Mindset, Atomic Habits, and Profit First. But you can't go wrong with any on this list. Which one are you picking up first and why? Drop me a comment below. I hope you found this video valuable. If you did, go ahead and subscribe because I got a lot more value-packed videos to come. And be sure to grab my guide on the 6 essential skills for online business success in the link in the description. Inside, you'll discover how to cultivate the skills that will allow you to build a successful business that will light you up every day. So download the guide, subscribe to my channel, and then go out there and live your message. I'll see you in the next video.